one, Meher Baba. Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Thanks to beloved Baba, Jai Baba to all of you. We are reading the book called Intimate Conversations with the Awakener by Bal Natu. We are on page number 74. Page number 74. Go ahead.
The full moon's grace. I was sitting all alone late at night on a small balcony attached to my room at an ocean resort. I sat on one of the two reclining chairs and looked over the long strand of beach, the lining waves breaking on the shore, and the luminous light of the moon dancing on the water. I had come here for a long overdue holiday and was having a most relaxing vacation. It was so quiet and peaceful all around that there seemed nothing to disturb the captivating atmosphere. Yet, strangely enough, I began to feel restless. My mind raced feverishly through the events of my life related to various worldly activities. My thoughts kept whirling, and I felt a strange uneasiness come over me. A sense of hollowness welled up within me and gnawed at my heart. Perhaps everyone has a hole within them, never filled or completely healed. And from time to time, this inner void swallows the joy of living and robs one's peace of mind.
So here the paragraph, or rather the two paragraphs, they are telling us, and we all experience that in spite of the beauty outside, in spite of us having everything, money, name, fame, whatever, house, in spite of all that, sometimes we feel a void within us, a kind of emptiness within us. And the word used is within me and gnawed at my heart. It like bites into your heart. It bites into your heart, and you do not know why you are feeling the emptiness or the void in spite of everything apparently perfect in the outside world. Everything is just perfect, but still you feel a void.
What is this game that is being played through measureless time and in unbounded space? Is there such a thing as time passing through space? Or is space an illusion devoured by time? Such thoughts and many more made my heart spin. In spite of knowing the limits of my abilities, periodically I have found myself wandering over the edge in vain pursuit of answers to such questions.
Such questions do keep coming as what is time? Are we moving in time, or time is constant and we are moving around that constant time, which is called the eternal now, the present moment? So that was the question. And then what is space? And Baba explained that space is nothing but a shadow of God. And since God is and since God is infinite, the shadow also is infinite. All right. So all although he says that it is in vain, I know my limitations to understand these profound truths. In spite of that, this question keeps coming every now and then, and I know it's an attempt in vain. So that's what the author is trying to say. I'm sorry for the disturbance. There's something happening in the society. What did you do? Right. Okay.
Physically, I was in no good shape and I was not facing any serious problems. But paradoxically, this relative sense of well being only seemed to accelerate and animate, sorry,
What
the
happened?
functioning of my unbridled thoughts and feelings.
That is done physically. You are right. Yeah, physically.
I finished.
Okay.
While my head was reeling, I turned to my right and saw you comfortably lounging on the other chair. With a natural grace and a glint of humor in your eyes, you asked, "What has happened? Why do you look so dazed?" Finding you there was a marvelous, breathtaking moment for me, and I simply stared at you in wonder and joy. Then, gesturing towards the vast expanse of the sky overhead and the ocean below, I said, "What's all this? This game going on in immeasurable time and unbounded space?" With dignified composure, you replied, "It's a passing show of impermanence."
Oh, what a beautiful one-liner. What is all this? There's a huge sky above our head and the vast expanse of ocean below, and this game has been going on for ages and ages. What is all this? So here, I don't think it requires any specific, but paradoxically means it is self-contradictory. I'm just giving a few words here and there, and only seem to accelerate and animate the functioning of my unbridled means unrestrained, without any restraint, wild, so to speak, thoughts and feelings. And then again, lounging obviously means reclining comfortably. And then when the author is asking, what is all this? I just cannot fathom. This has been, the game has been going on and on and on unceasingly. And Baba's one-liner, so superb, with dignified composure, very composed look, very calm look. He said only one sentence. It is passing show of impermanence. All that we are observing outside of us, howsoever beautiful it may be, howsoever ugly it may be, it is all a passing show of impermanence. Beautiful. All right.
And what will happen if and when time and space are totally absent? I inquired. Deep, sound sleep in the immensity of the nothing, you leisurely answered.
See how beautiful is it. What will happen when there is no time and space? And actually, every night when we go to deep sleep state, there is no time and there is no space, isn't it? So very leisurely he answered. What did he answer?
Deep, sound sleep in the immensity of the
In
nothing.
the immensity of the nothing, capital N. In the immensity of the nothing, you will have a deep, sound sleep. Such a profound answer. Yeah.
Although I did not at all understand, I persisted. And if time and space and deep sleep too are in abeyance, what will exist? The infinity of the luminous consciousness of the beyond, you promptly but gently replied.
What a profound reply. Try to understand. When the time and the space is not there, you are in deep sleep, in the immensity of nothing. And then very intelligently the author is asking, what will happen if there is no time and no space and also no deep sleep? What will be there? That is realization. That means there is no deep sleep, but you are awake. So here the answer is okay. The infinity of the luminous consciousness of the beyond. What you will experience is the infinity of the luminous consciousness of the beyond. In other words, you will experience the state of Aham Brahmasmi. You will experience the state of God realization. See the questioning and the answering, so profound. In such a short paragraph, the entire cosmology, you can say God speaks, has been explained. Beautiful. Can you read this again if you don't mind?
And what will happen if and when time and space are totally absent?
Only time and space. Okay.
Deep, sound sleep in the immensity of the nothing.
Of the nothing. Whereas when the sleep is also not there, it is of the everything. See the beautiful words, play of words.
Although I did not at all understand, I persisted. And if time and space and deep sleep too are in abeyance, what will exist? The infinity of the luminous consciousness of the beyond, you promptly but gently replied.
Too good. Go ahead.
All these states and statements were definitely beyond my comprehension. However, your answers were so direct and poignant that to a great extent they calmed my tormented mind. I also felt that if someone else were to ask you these same questions, your replies could be quite different. That would not surprise me, for your approach is uniquely personal with each individual.
So there are 2 points which come up here. He says that although things were beyond me, I don't really understand what you are trying to say, but somehow, because of the force of his words, it soothed
So,
his mind, soothed his mind. So his mind was tranquil, although he could not really understood the implication of these profound words. And then the second point he says is that Baba adjusts himself to the questioner, and also the question remains the same. He will answer it differently according to each one's capacity. That is what comes across.
as I stared at you in amazement, I was enraptured by the serene beauty and lively tranquility beaming from your face. For some moments, both of us remained silent, but somehow I was prompted to ask you the question that had been bothering me off and on regarding our earlier meetings. I sheepishly said, how is it, after all the bliss and peace I have experienced during your visits, I am still not totally certain about their validity? I still wonder whether these meetings with you are real or simply an imagined fantasy.
Isn't it? That's what is happens. When we are in dire need of Baba's help and we call out from within, he comes and he solves our issues and problems. But still, when things go very smoothly, is it really Baba, or was it just a coincidence? It just happens. Maybe if I had called out to somebody else, that person would also have helped. Some such thing. So he says that in spite of all the beautiful feelings that I have, whenever you visit me, I still have this one nagging doubt as to whether these conversations that I am writing, that I am getting, is it real, or is it just a figment of my mind, of my imagination? Yes, Dilshad, go ahead.
Jai Baba Cyrus Ji, Jai Baba Soumya and everybody.
Jai Baba.
Cyrus Ji, maybe I missed out, but if you can please help me understand the first question when it is that we feel the void so often. So what is Baba trying to tell us about that void? And is it only restricted to Baba lovers? Most of us.
No, no, no. See, Baba, whether you call yourself or we call ourselves Baba lovers or not, Baba loves everyone equally. That's one. And his voice, the voice of conscience, you call it, the voice of God, you call it, whatever intuition, you call it, whatever it is. There are different words we use, although they may have marginal differences. Definitely everybody has that spark within. See, the entire creation is nothing but a playing out of the creator, taking different forms and shapes and names and all that sizes. So if you are asking whether we only get it and everybody gets it, the answer would be yes, everybody gets it. The only difference is how refined we are to hear that voice, how fine tuned we are to hear that voice. Some people are very fine tuned, they constantly hear and they constantly conduct their lives accordingly. And some people just hear it and just ignore it. And Baba has his own sweet time. He's beyond time, so he's not in any great hurry. Maybe after so many lifetimes, we might start hearing the voice more and more clearly.
Cyrus Ji, I heard it as void, VOID,
Oh,
void,
it's
and
not for a void. I'm sorry. Then I heard it wrongly. The void is the emptiness, which I suppose everybody feels it at one point in time or not, in the
exactly.
sense that they feel the emptiness, they feel the void in spite of having everything in life. So I would say, yes, everybody gets it.
So how does Baba address that? I'm sorry I missed that out. I couldn't understand what was Baba's reply to that question.
The basic thing what Baba said was that everything around you is temporary and is impermanent and it is passing show. And when we are attracted towards that, obviously there is an emptiness over here. If we are taking everything that is happening as a passing show, as impermanence, having ourselves anchored on to Baba within, then maybe over a period of time we might not get that void, because that is, we are anchoring, we are hanging on to Baba, we are holding on to his Daman. So maybe we will not feel that void. That is how I would answer that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Swami has been prompting me to say there was another similar uh, area of thought in our earlier conversations where the author Bal Natu ji says that I feel very, very lethargic, very bored, and very alone, very lonely, very lonely. And there the answer given by Baba, again a very superb one-liner, words to the effect, that when you fail to see my alone, first of all, the first sentence is boredom is a lethargic void. Boredom is a lethargic void. When you fail to see my aloneness in everyone and everything, you feel lonely. That means we must develop the eyes and the ears to be able to see Baba in everyone and everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. When we start doing that, we will not feel lonely. We will feel his companionship wherever we are and whatever we are doing in whatever situations that we are. There will be no emptiness or void in that case. Got it? Jai Baba.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
As I stared at
I think you did that.
you, you gently touched me on the shoulder.
Can you read the last line so that your
How I sheepishly said, how is it, after all the bliss and peace I have experienced during your visits, I am still not totally certain about their validity? I still wonder whether these meetings with you are real or simply an imagined fantasy.
So that's what we were coming to, that we still doubt sometimes that whether it is real or it is just a figment of my imagination. Is it real or not? In spite of so much he has obtained from these visits, and we all have obtained through him for all these visits, still that lurking doubt, we call it doubting Thomases, it happens. So here Baba is saying,
You gently touched me on the shoulder, and a thrill went through my body. With a pleasant smile and peaceful intensity, you spoke. These visits are as real and valid as your own thoughts and feelings. I am the innermost you, inviting you through different doors from different levels of your mind to your abode in me. And he flashed a meaningful smile.
I would like to read that again, a very beautiful sentence, very profound. He said, Baba says, we say Baba because we know it's Awakener. These visits are as real and valid as your own thoughts and feelings. In other words, he's not giving that, yes, these visits are real, because elsewhere also Baba says, that if you think that your thoughts and feelings are real, then these visits are real. If you think your thoughts and feelings are just a fantasy of your own creation, of your own mind, then it is like that. It is imagination. Very beautiful answer, very to the point. These visits are as real and valid as your own thoughts and feelings. I am the innermost, capital I. I am the innermost you, capital Y. I am the innermost you, inviting you through different doors from different levels of your mind. From different levels of your mind, through different doors, I, who am the innermost you, is inviting the small you to come to your abode in me. And then he adds to your abode in me. That means your abode in me. In other words, he's inviting us to live in him. And you flash a meaningful smile.
Moved by the impact of your words, I answered, yes, whenever you visit me, I feel drenched in your loving presence. But after you leave, my mind begins to think, how can a most finite individual like me ever really meet the infinite one who is beyond time and space without losing my own individuality? I can't explain what I feel within me after meeting you. For instance, how can a drop touch the ocean and continue to retain its dropness? This is an unsolvable dilemma.
Sorry. Again, here, again, it reflects on most of us, that we consider ourselves as a drop, as insignificant, as so small. How could I have that kind of a great good fortune to have come in contact with the Lord in human form, with God in human form? Imagine the immensity of the good fortune that we have, that during his time of ministry on earth, we are these chosen few, a few millions maybe, who have come to know him, know his name, see his form, and most importantly, to love him, or at least making an attempt to love him. That's a great fortune. So here the author is saying that how can a most finite individual like me ever really meet the infinite one who is beyond time and space without losing my own individuality? That means, how can I, as a drop, without losing my dropness, ever touch the ocean? That is what he's trying to say. This is an unsolved dilemma. You call it a quandary, you call it something which you can't solve. Yeah. I look.
I looked to you for some consolation, but you did not seem in the least affected by my problem. And with an easy smile, you posed a counter question. Why should these thoughts bother you? When the profundity of my presence has touched your heart through these visits, can't you simply brush away those doubting thoughts?
Now, yeah, now I was going to use the same word. That again, Baba had this, you can say, a way of being. That when problems are comes to his ears, for us they are huge problems. For Baba, they are insignificant. They are not at all problems. In fact, they are not problems at all. They are all creations of our own mind. So he would encourage us to brush it off, to just brush it off. I remember an instance when Adi Kaka had come to our center and he was talking about the same thing, some issues, some thoughts, some feelings, something happening in our mind. And Adi just waved his hands and said, what happens if a fly comes and sits on your nose, or a mosquito is hovering around you? What do? You just sway your hands and brush it off. You do not go into the thinking, why did this fly come to me? And not go to my neighbor who's sitting just next to me. Why did the fly sit on my nose and not on my ear, or not on? Would you go into all these details, which is rubbish? So you just brush it off. In the same way, most of us are accustomed to going deep into things which are so insignificant, which needs to be just brushed off and not to be bothered about. But we catch hold of those insignificant instances, make a meaning out of it, go deep into it, and then suffer, and then ask Baba, why am I suffering? So we must learn the art of just brushing off certain jane do. Yeah, correctly. Baba's words were jane do. Just let it go. Just don't make a mountain out of molehill. Just ignore it. Just forget about it. Just brush it off. So that is the same sentiment which,
Eye-openers for us to know.
yes, most problems are. See? Okay, go ahead.
I gulped
No,
in
no, no, sir. Gulping.
I
Sorry.
gulped in your words and replied, what you say is right. Yet somehow it is not easy for me to wipe them out. My mind repeatedly insists on trying to ascertain whether these meetings are real or make believe.
See now, how is the mind? How does the mind function? In spite of so many replies, so many assurances given, the mind keeps on repeatedly going back to issues and problems, and that's the nature of the mind, and that is why we talk about making friends with your mind. I would not say controlling the mind, because you generally cannot control the mind. It's very uncontrollable unless and until you make friends with your mind, unless you explain to your own mind that this is not in my interest and therefore I'm not going to entertain you, or in the alternately, this is in my interest, so I'm going to think more of these thoughts and much less or none of those thoughts which are of disservice to me. And accordingly, we can train the mind. See, so here again, he's saying that I know what you're saying is true, but still my mind repeatedly goes into that direction.
It's real or make believe.
Yeah,
They are both, you responded quite calmly.
they are both. If you take them as real, they are real. If you take them as false, they are false.
Make believe.
Because in the domain of the shadow, in the domain of illusion, in the domain which is controlled by Maya, in the domain which Baba talks about non-existent, impermanent, how can you think about right and wrong, good and bad, real and unreal? So it is all what you make out of it. If we consider that all this is a superb book, which it is, then definitely it will transform our life in a manner that from illusion, hopefully we might go on to the reality. But if we feel, oh, this is all just imagine, it's very easy to say, but very difficult to implement and stuff like that. What will be our experience? The same, that it is just okay, time pass, we just read it and finish it off. So it all depends upon what we make out of it. There's a saying, that what is the meaning of life? And the answer is that life itself has no meaning. It is we who fill life with the meaning. And based on the filler, what you are filling life with, positive or negative, accordingly, life will reflect for us. So life itself has no meaning in that sense. Of course, these are not Baba's words, but basically what Baba is trying to say is that they are both real as well as imaginary. Go ahead.
How can that be? I asked, mystified. In your soft, unruffled way, you continued. Reality is like the sun, which is self evident. It needs no proof. However, in the light of the sun, many things are made visible, and in this light, the so called opposites of beautiful and ugly, inviting and repellent can be seen. But in actuality, they are not mutually exclusive. Reality is beyond intellectual comprehension, transcending countless states of experience. Long, wordy explanations only make things more complicated and confusing.
So, Baba beautifully says, sun, of course, this sun is nothing, this is just an illusion, but Baba is just giving an example of this sun, because we do give a lot of importance to our sun in the solar system. So Baba says that reality is like the sun. When the sun shines, so many things which are not easily evident, which are not easily seen when the sun is not there, they become self-evident. And in that, some of the so-called good things and some of the so-called bad things, both are self-evident. And then Baba uses a very important word. I'll repeat the whole thing. Reality is like the sun, which is self-evident. It does not require any evidence or proof. It needs no proof. However, in the light of the sun, many things are made visible. And in this light, the so-called opposites of beautiful and ugly, inviting and repellent can be seen. It's opposites, all opposites can be seen. But in actuality, they are not mutually exclusive. I'll repeat what is mutually exclusive. I've got the dictionary meaning. Mutually exclusive means describing multiple events or propositions such that the occurrence of any one implies the non-occurrence of other events or propositions. Those are mutually exclusive. If A is there, B will not be there. If B is there, A will not be there. But here Baba says that they are not mutually exclusive. That means they are concurrently coexisting. The reality and the so-called imagination, they are both concurrently, that means at the same time existing. Beautiful. Reality is beyond intellectual comprehension. Baba says, that God is and Godhood begins where imagination ends. So it is beyond, forget about intellect, it is beyond imagination. You can imagine anything, and yet God is beyond that. So Baba says here, reality is beyond intellectual comprehension, transcending countless states of experiences. That means there are various states of it. It transcends. It is over and above that. Long, wordy explanations only make things more complicated and confusing. So this reality cannot be made understandable through the use of intellect, through the use of words, sentences, whatever it is.
So, what is the way out? Perhaps a simple analogy from daily life may give you a clue, you said. Tell me, I'm anxious to hear it. You looked at me with amusement and stood up, touching the railing of the balcony and gesturing to the ocean beneath us. You said, can you see the way the moon is slowly descending to the horizon? Yes, that is crystal clear and also exquisitely beautiful. Maintaining a serious look, you continue, and you see the way the moon's resplendent light is reflected and refracted by the waves, casting a luminous sheen over the sea. Yes, I answered, it is marvelous, but it will last for only some hours longer. As the moon descends, the waves will seem to rise up towards it. When the moon reaches the horizon, it will appear as if the waves and the moon have fallen into each other's embrace. However, after some moments, the moon will totally disappear and the water will look dark once more. Where has the light of the moon gone? I didn't know what to say, so I just set my eyes upon you. The sublimity of your statement seemed to fill the silence around us. Then you smiled, your face beaming like the full moon. I was groping for a spark of understanding, but was failing. In fact, I could really neither follow nor fathom the depth of your unique metaphor, but something, unbeknownst to me, had filled the void within me with an indescribable peace. A luminous silence enveloped me as I gazed at you in wonder, but I could not utter a word. Knowing full well my inner state of amazement and inability to speak, you gave me a tender look, and before I could catch my breath, you lovingly stated, calm down, don't be impatient. Love does not insist, it patiently waits. So try to resign to my will and try to be more and more aware of the uplifting feelings you experience whenever I visit you. Begin to absorb these in your life.
So your Baba is, in a sense, very patiently, very mildly, so to speak, discourages the questioning outlook. He says, as long as you are feeling the peace and the tranquility in your heart in my presence, just stay with that and don't keep on asking, because so many questions, you will have answers to that, and those answers will again bring forth another bunch of questions, and this will go on and on. But I'll read the last paragraph, few paragraphs. So he says now, okay, long wordings, etc. is confusing. So what is the way out? Perhaps a simple analogy from daily life may give you a clue. So now tell me, I'm anxious to hear. You looked at me with amusement and stood up, touching the railing of the balcony and gesturing to the ocean beneath us. You said, can you see the way the moon is slowly descending to the horizon? Now, the experience is that the moon is gradually descending to the horizon. Over a long period of time, it will go. And as it is descending, the rays of the moon falls on the waves of the ocean, and some of the waves reflect. Reflect means going back, or some refract. Refract means changing the direction of the waves. So here he says,
of the light.
of the light, sorry, direction of the light. Yes, that is crystal clear and also exquisitely beautiful. The full moon is just going slowly, gradually, trying to touch the horizon and the so-called waves. Maintaining a, yes, that is crystal clear and also exquisitely beautiful. Maintaining a serious look, you continued, and you see the wave, the moon's resplendent light, means very shining light, is reflected. As I said, reflected means going back, or refract and refracted, which means changing the direction, by the waves, casting a luminous sheen over the sea. Sheen is like a shining, shimmering thing. Yes, I answered, it is marvelous. But it will last for only some hours longer. Maybe what Baba is trying to say is that everything, all this beauty, all these things in your surrounding, they are all impermanent. You are imagining that the moon is going down, whereas in fact, actually the earth is, rotating. So you're, as the moon descends, the waves will seem to rise up towards it. The waves seem to be rising up towards the moon, but actually the moon is descending. Merchant Loriji, Merchant, please. Thank you, dear. Okay. As the moon descends, the wave will seem to rise up towards it. When the moon reaches the horizon, it will appear as if the waves and the moon have fallen into each other's embrace. It will appear. It's not happening. It is just an appearance. However, after some moments, the moon will totally disappear and the water will look dark once more. What is coming across is the transient element of everything in nature, is the impermanent thing, that neither there was darkness nor there was light. It was just a make-believe in a sense. Where has the light of the moon gone? Where has it gone? I didn't know what to say, so I just set my eyes upon you. The sublimity of your statement seemed to fill the silence around us. Then you smiled, your face beaming like the full moon. That's the chapter's title, the full moon. The full moon's grace. That means Baba's full moon grace. I was groping for a spark of understanding, but was failing. Again, in my understanding, what Baba is trying to convey, that everything about you means around you, is just illusory, is just temporary, is just impermanent, is just transient. Do not be sucked into it. Do not be, captured by it. If you get that, then you will experience a void within yourself. But in experiencing all this, if we are inputting Baba's presence, this is Baba. It's like you cook a delicious food, but you forget to add salt. It is tasteless. But when you add salt, so Baba is like salt, which gives taste to everything that we enjoy. So whenever we are enjoying everything and anything, if we are including Baba in that, then it not only becomes very, tasty, enjoyable, and yet not sucking us into it. We will be able to enjoy it with in a sense, in a detached manner. I could really neither follow nor fathom the depth of your unique metaphor. Metaphor is a figure of speech. I have written over here a figure of speech. You can't take it literally, but helps to explain an idea or to make a comparison. For example, love example given. Love is a battlefield. You know, that was the example given. In other words, why battlefield? Because in love, this is my understanding. In love, see, people when the sentence is given, love is a battlefield, you might think that, oh, you're to love, you're fighting with your wife or husband or spouse or what. I would put it this way: love is a battlefield. Is in love, you have to fight within yourself, battle within your lower self in order to be really able to love. It's like that. So that is where this is a unique metaphor, but something unbeknownst to me, unbeknown to me, when we are conversing with Baba, when we are continuously imploring and beseeching Baba to be with us, to give us the company, then it may not make sense to us in the mind, but something unknown to us in the heart will give us this joy, this tranquility, this peace, this sense of being in the right place at the right time, and a sense of absolute comfort at that time. So here he says, unbeknown to me, it had filled the void within me with an indescribable peace. Now that does not need any explanation. That's what Baba is saying. All bombastic words we may use, but the moment you invite Baba and the peace that you find within, stay with that and don't bother about knowing how it came, from where it came, why it came to me, why not to somebody else. The example that I gave about the
Right.
fly or a mosquito. Don't get into all this verbosity or even thought processes. A luminous silence enveloped me as I gazed at you in wonder, but I could not utter a word. Did you read that? Okay. Knowing full well.
Knowing full well my inner state of amazement and inability to answer.
Let me read, sorry. Knowing full well my inner state of amazement and inability to speak, you gave me a tender look, and before I could catch my breath, you lovingly stated, calm down, don't be impatient. Love does not insist, it patiently waits. When you love somebody, patience is of paramount importance. Love does not insist. Love does, in other chapter, Baba had used the word love does not impose itself on somebody. You can't be imposing and say this is love. You see, it allows the freedom to develop at its own pace. Love does not insist, it patiently waits. So this is now again important. What Baba said. Try to resign to my will and try to be more and more aware of the uplifting feelings you experience whenever I visit you. Begin to absorb these in your life. So try to be aware of these uplifting and absorb it rather than asking the why, where from, and what for, and all that. Just keep on absorbing like a sponge everything beautiful that is coming forth from beloved Baba.
I nodded in deep reverence and gratitude, and although I did not comprehend at all the import of your statements, nonetheless, you wished to disclose a still deeper secret, for you continued.
So although I don't understand whatever you said, it just doesn't, it's beyond me. But I felt very nice. And you gave me a deeper secret. What is the deeper secret? Don't try to understand me. My depth is unfathomable. Just love me. See, that's the deeper secret.
You will
And these
not.
are Baba's words, mind you.
Why did you break it? You will not be able to anticipate the moment when your drunkenness will burst and merge in the ocean of my reality. However, be sure that by my grace, it shall definitely happen at the opportune moment, the moment when the tide of your love and longing to find union will rise and continue to rise so high that it touches the full moon of my grace.
Okay, so what Baba is trying to say is, You do not know the time, although since we are in time, when your dropness will merge into my oceanness and you yourself will become the ocean. But be sure that that time is there for each and every drop in creation to experience the oceanness. But that time is not known to you. It can happen at the at the next moment itself. You do not know that. So till then, what you need to do is you have that dropness here. Baba is using the word till that moment comes. Okay, let me read this. You will not be able to anticipate the moment when your dropness, inverted comma, will burst. The dropness has to burst. The bubble has to burst. Only then the drop will merge in the ocean. And what is this bubble? Bubble of our mind. You can say bubble of ignorance,
Ignorance.
bubble of illusion, bubble of mind, bubble of desires, bubble of cravings, whatever words that we may use. But the bubble is something that is separating the drop, apparently separating the drop from the ocean. Because the drop is not different from the ocean. The drop is not other than the ocean. The drop is the ocean. But because of the existence of the bubble, the experience of the drop is as a drop and not as the ocean. Baba uses that in God Speaks. I think it's in part 4 where Baba says, that Atma in reality is Paramatma. In reality, Atma is Paramatma only. There is nothing, no other existence except that of Paramatma. So here Baba says, you will not be able to anticipate the moment when your dropness will burst and merge in the ocean of my reality. However, be sure, that is for each one of us, be assured, be sure, there's no way out but to merge. Be sure that by my grace, it shall definitely happen at the opportune moment. And Baba uses the word by my grace, which is, as Baba has himself said, that nobody achieves God realization, even mukti, except by the grace of a living, perfect master or the avatar who is the eternal, living, perfect master. There is no other gate, there is no other scope. They have made it so tight that you cannot reach that final stage unless and until a living perfect master or the avatar, who's the eternal living perfect master, takes interest in you and pulls you out of the rut and it makes us experience the oceanness. So here, however, be sure that by my grace, it shall definitely happen at the opportune moment. The moment when the tide of your love and longing to find union will rise, the tide will rise and continue to rise so high that it touches the full moon of my grace. In other words, what is expected out of us is, I would read it this way: be in the world, but not of it. Enjoy everything, but do not be attached to it. Doing everything, invite Baba in our life, whatever we may be doing, and constantly there should be a rising, what should I say, a kind of a longing to become one with God, to experience the union with God. So Baba says, when the tide gradually rises and keeps on rising till it touches the full moon of my grace. That means till it is so high. And even at that stage, elsewhere in the discourses, Baba says that at that stage, even the longing to become one with God should be relinquished, should be dropped. At that point in time, it is not my will, but thine. You have to completely resign to his will. And that is the moment in time, just split second in time, when his grace descends and we experience the oneness.
This will be the moment when the drop of your false individuality with the debris of its residual thoughts and feelings, will be ignited by the spark of my grace and totally consumed in me like a little granule of camphor. Oh my God.
How does a little granule of camphor light itself? It lights like this, So here Baba says, very beautiful. Many people say, that, oh, we have got so much of samskara, so much of karmas, what will happen? So Baba says that when your longing reaches that height, do not be worried about your sanskaras, karmas, good, bad, ugly, whatever it is. It's a debris. It's a kachra, it's a garbage. And the grace, Baba, in other discourse, Baba had said, only the Sadguru has that match. Match means the matchstick. Only the Sadguru has that matchstick, that it will light a match to the debris of your samskaras. All the samskaras will be wiped out and you will achieve union. But elsewhere, again, I'm talking elsewhere, Baba has said, but all these samskaras or impressions are like green grass. And when you try to light a match on a green grass, it does not get into flames. It does not burn. It just extinguishes. It burns a little, extinguishes, burns a little, extinguishes. It gives out a smoke, but it does not burn into a fire. So what is the way of converting this green grass into dry hay? And Baba has given us the nuska, we call it the key, the clue, the chavi, that constant, wholehearted remembrance of the Lord. Any God's name, we call it Baba, constant, wholehearted remembrance of God, because remembrance is a kind of meeting, just as how we meet physically. Of course, now we don't meet physically, we meet over the so-called the virtual meetings, So remembrance, when you remember the Lord, you are actually having a meeting with Him at a different level, not at the gross level, at a different level. So remembrance of God is a form of meeting. And when we constantly are in touch with that remembrance of the Lord, what is happening is we are developing a kind of a tunnel, a kind of a channel, a kind of a connectivity where God's grace, His love, His guidance flows unrestricted, easily towards us. And when that cycle is done, when that grace keeps on flowing, one of the aspects of that grace is that makes our green grass dry. It dries up. When it dries up, what is required is just a matchstick and it goes off. So that is I would interpret it this way. Baba saying, okay, this will be the moment. That means when your longing touches the full moon of the grace, union will rise and continue to rise so high that it touches the full moon of my grace. This will be the moment when the drop of your false individuality, the drop soul, the drop of your false individuality with the debris of the residual thoughts and feelings. It doesn't mean that all the thoughts and feelings have gone away. No, the whole huge mountain load of debris of thoughts and feelings are there. But because of our continuous link with Baba, because of our continuously calling on to Baba, this will be the moment when the drop of your false individuality with the debris of its residual thoughts and feelings will be ignited by the spark of my grace and totally consumed in me like a little granule of camphor. That means the entire debris of our whatever good, the bad, the ugly thoughts, feelings, emotions, actions, whatever the load of samskaras are, with that match, it will just burn like a small residual camphor, granule of camphor.
That will be both the beginning and the end of all words, of all conversations, in the shoreless oceanity of my silence. It is the inconceivable beyond state of my being, wherein existence and non existence are eternally united. There is no full moon there, no rising tide of longing, neither drop nor ocean, but only the infinitude of my luminous being that reigns from eternity to eternity. Enraptured as I was by loving, enlightening words, I could hardly speak. As fresh tears of joy and gratitude cascaded down my cheeks, I felt you entered my heart, already so full, causing these words to overflow. O Eternal Awakener, you are in and beyond time and space, but in your infinite humor, you live in each moment and are in everything. No name or form can bind you, yet any name or form can contain you totally. O Real One, pull me into your being to be united with you for all time in your immutable silence. This will be the miracle of your simple, unconditional grace. Amen.
Amen. So here, so beautiful. Baba says that when that happens, when that tiny granule of camphor burns up and you merge into the eternity of my being, this will be both the beginning and the end of all words. Because there are no words, there are no feelings, there is not even love. Because you are the being of that. There is no love. Love requires a beloved. So here you yourself become the beloved. That will be both the beginning and end of all words, of all conversations. There'll be no conversations, everything over in the shoreless oceanity of my silence. It is the inconceivable beyond state of my being. It is inconceivable, cannot be conceived, cannot be just brought within the realm of your intellect or imagination. Inconceivable beyond state of my being, wherein existence and non-existence are eternally united. There is no dui. In that state, it is the state of Advait, oneness, unity. There is no question of existence or non-existence. There is no full moon there, no rising tide of longing, neither drop nor ocean, but only the infinitude of my luminous being that reigns from eternity to eternity, ever was, is, and ever will remain. There was never a time when it was not there. There will never be a time where it will not be there. Enraptured as I was by your loving, enlightening words, I could hardly speak. As fresh tears of joy and gratitude cascaded down my cheeks, flowed down my cheeks, I felt you entered my heart, already so full, causing these words to overflow. So here, and then there's a small, beautiful poem. I'll just end with that. Almost we are there. Yes. O Eternal Awakener. Baba calls himself the Awakener. We know that Baba says, I have come not to teach, but to awaken. O Eternal Awakener, you are in and beyond time and space. That's the beauty. He is in time and space and also beyond time and space, whereas we are only in time and space. But in your infinite humor, this is his humor, that having no need to come, he came. Having no need to suffer, he suffered. Having no need to get bound, he got bound, all because of us. That is his humor. That's what Baba says. That is the humor of the infinite ancient one, that he undergoes all these things for our sake. But in your infinite humor, you live in each moment and are in everything. No name or form can bind you. Binding means you cannot be limited by a name or a form. Yet, any name or form can contain you totally. If we get realization, we have contained that name and form totally. O real one, pull me into your being to be united with you for all time in your immutable silence.
Tetralogy change.
Sorry?
Something that immutable.
Immutable. That means something that doesn't change. It is constant. Immutable silence. This will be the miracle of your simple, unconditional grace. Amen. So here we end almost, even the book is ended, so to speak. No, the book has ended, so to speak. But then we'll definitely read the other chapters also. I think we are at 6:30 sharp by Baba's grace. So far, we've been able to match up with the time that we are committed to. Any questions, any sharing, anything to ask, anything to say? Such a beautiful book. Again, it all zeroes down, so to speak, to one thing, that we must cultivate the art, the habit of calling out to him for every little thing and making him our constant companion. As we always say, just one liner, constant, wholehearted remembrance. I repeat, constant, wholehearted remembrance is the key to salvation, to mukti, moksha, whatever you call it. That is the key. Once we are anchored on that thought process, just one liner, and we forget, so what? Again, we remember, we forget, we remember. But in that whole game of tug of war, remembering, forgetting, hopefully by our effort and by his grace, we can make this form, this life, the last one by remembering him. Yes, Pawan?
Penny also, penny.
Hey, Baba.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So in the beginning, you spoke about deep sleep state, right in the beginning of our session. So how can we be aware of that deep sleep state where there is no time, space, and what is it that Baba suggests? How do we?
Do you have the sense of time when you are in sound sleep?
No, I am completely.
Only when you wake up, you realize.
Yes.
Do you have the sense of space where you are, what you are, in what position of wherever you are? No. That means in deep sleep state, there is absence of time, there is absence of space, and you experience the infinite nothing. We don't experience the everything. But if we are in that deep sleep state, and we are not, in other words, and we are conscious of the deep sleep state, then we experience, Baba uses the word, the luminous eternity in the beyond. In other words, we experience the reality, we experience God, God realization. In other words, being conscious of your unconsciousness is equal to God realization. In other words, if we experience whatever we experience in sound sleep state, but with full consciousness, like how we are conscious, awake state, then that is equivalent to God realization. We have done that in the book called In God's Hand, very beautifully explained in that book. Am I understandable, Pawan?
Yes.
No, not I don't think so.
No, his questions are addressed.
Please
No.
tell me.
No, I'm able to understand, but I still didn't get the answer to how to be aware.
You cannot be aware. That's the beauty. If you are aware in your deep sleep state, then you'll be God.
Oh, okay.
And you got my point. Therefore, all the masters, all the perfect ones, they never go into the state of unconsciousness as we do in our sound sleep state. They are always ever conscious. If Baba had said that I cannot afford to be unconscious even for a split second, because if I do that, the entire creation just is just sucked into. We call it a pralaya or a mahapralaya. Got it? So we cannot be awake in. See, there are three states of consciousness: the awake state, which is actually a false awake state, the dream state, and the deep sleep state. So if we are awake in the deep sleep state, that is realization.
Okay.
For that, all our karma, all the sanskaras should be annihilated.
That you cannot achieve unless with the
grace of
unless we have the grace of, okay. And just one more doubt. You mentioned the book. What was that? In God?
God's hand.
In God's hand.
In
Okay.
God's hand. It should be available on our discussion should be available on the Facebook page of the Bombay Center.
Okay.
It's all posted there. Yes, Mayor.
Thank you.
I'm sorry
Hey,
for.
Baba, sorry.
Yes, Baba. Bolo ji.
When is when are we going to have it at Bombay Center?
What happened?
When are we going to have it at the center again?
When Baba wants it to happen. No clue at all, Mayor. Absolutely no clue. No clue.
That's great.
But even if we are thinking of continuously having physical as well as virtual.
Okay.
We are trying to do that. As and when it opens, whenever Baba wants.
Oh,
Yes, Pia. You said Perrin had some questions.
Perrin also was.
All right, Pia, go ahead.
Hey, Baba, thank you.
Yeah.
You
Jai
know,
Mata.
I was last Sunday or the Sunday before, Mehernosh had spoken about how Shirdi Sai Baba had got realization from Zarzari Baksh, but Zarzari Baksh was not in his body at that point. So I think there are exceptions when you can get God
Correct.
realization.
Baba did say that there are exceptions. Yes.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's-
Even not only Siddhi Sai Baba, Saint Francis of Assisi also did not have a master.
Narayan Maharaj.
And Narayan Maharaj. Baba said that there is an office of perfect mastership which is called Kizir. And that office takes form for a little while, gives realization and goes back. But these are all exceptions. We are talking about the rules. Got
Perrin?
it, Pia?
Thank you.
Yeah. Perrin, you had a question.
Perrin's mic was open. Perrin?
Perrin, you want to
No,
ask?
I did not have a question. Thank you. I
Thank you.
only wanted to say, thank you for sharing that example Adi uncle gave at the center.
Is
That is
Baba.
beautiful. That
Baba.
is beautiful. Jai Baba.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. So that fly also became very important and prominent in Baba's.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Thanks to Baba that I
Thank
remember
you.
these small instances. It's all Baba's grace. Yeah. Thank you, Baba. Okay, Avtar
Baba.
Meher Baba.
Meher Baba ki jai.
Jai Baba. Thank you,
Thank you.
Baba. Thank you, Baba.
Thank you.
Jai Meher Baba.
Jai
Meher
Meher
Baba.
Baba.
Hey, Baba, thank you.
Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Saumya, look at your WhatsApp.
Okay.
Look at your WhatsApp. Later.
Thank you, Baba.
Thank you, Baba.
Bye.
Jai Baba.